Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Babylon Balkan Show. We are here with another episode. And in this episode, we will talk about agriculture, AgriTech, something related. And as always, the topic will shape itself during the episode. And I'm really excited. Dusan?
Yeah, me too. We have another really unique guest. He comes from Croatia, from agricultural rich land, and specifically the region of Slavonia. He's from Slavonski Brod. He was raised and he lived there, and he still lives there. He studied in Zagreb. He finished bachelor and master studies. I will not tell you in which area, since he's really into agroeconomic, he's really into agrotech, he's really into agriculture in general. So he has different subfields of agriculture in his field, in his hands, and personally, I find him not only interested in this area but in general. He's funny guy, knowledgeable, knows a lot of trivia. So I'm really also looking forward to this episode and what he has to say about the current situation in the Balkans in terms of agriculture, agricultural tech, and the future of agriculture in the Balkans. So without further ado, let's start the episode.
Let's go.
And we are back with our newest guest, as we said in the intro. Mato Mrkalj is with us. Welcome, Mato.
Hello, Mato
Thank
Mrkalj.
you, Dusan and Onat. Hi, very nice to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you as a guest on our Babylon Balkan Show. And today you bring to us a really specific topic that we find interesting. But before we start, usually we start with questions that has nothing to do with the topic that you're talking about. It's just to soften up the beginnings, so to say. So, Onat,
Okay.
would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So my question again, I love this question, so I'm asking every guest. What is the top 3 things on your bucket list?
Top 3 on my bucket list. Go to a white sandy beach. Drive a full-size truck.
Okay.
And number 3, probably try some exotic food I never tried before.
Oh,
Now, and about the first one, I'm guessing the white sandy beach, because you're from Croatia, you have beautiful beaches. Nevertheless, meaning about the shore, but because it's rocky, you miss or you would like the pure white one, the
So
sandy one.
I was thinking more like, somewhere in Africa or
A
somewhere,
tropical beach.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
Exactly. The cliche rich guys, Bahamas or something like that.
Arriving there with your truck.
Well, actually, since we are already there, I had an opportunity to drive a truck when I was a kid, but it was 100 meters with some parents and so on. So, but I would really like to experience, dropping some product from A to B and experiencing the life. It's a cool thing for me.
It's really nice. I would like also to start with my question from my side that I usually ask. Maybe it's all you already answered it. We don't know. Well, what did you want to be when you were little? Afterwards, when you grow up, what was your dream?
My dream. Well, I grew up with trucks, so
That's what I guessed.
usually
Yeah.
my first idea was to be a truck driver. Of course, policeman and the other topics like every other boy. Well, I finished junior school. I was an A student. I got all the recommendations and everything put together. And my mother asked me,
Kudos.
"Where do you want to go to high school?" And I said, "I want to be a truck driver." And she was so disappointed.
I can.
She said, you can be whatever you like. I will buy the driver's license for you. Just don't do this. And I was for weeks I was so angry because I understood that in the end she will prevail. I will have to listen to her. So
Okay.
the school I choose, it was the most difficult gymnasium in Slavonski Brod available. It was the natural sciences and mathematics. And I
Hmm.
said, that's the hardest one. Okay, then I'm going there. I will prove to you, I can do this. And I'm happy I did it because it helped me later in life.
Good. She made a good choice of advising you not to do it. Uh,
Well, typical Balkan parent.
yeah. And what's
Yeah.
interesting, you're not the first guest that we have that wanted to be a truck driver, by the way. So it's not
Perfect.
uncommon, not uncommon thing. So.
Well, a little bit, a few years later in my life, I had a 3 months experience where I did a short position in a truck driving company,
Uh-huh.
and I was handling the guys, the tours they drive and so on. So I had a real life experience on what it is, and I would never be a truck driver. I mean, the life that those people have, usually coming from 2,000 kilometers from their home,
Mm,
and they basically live in the truck. It's
yeah.
crazy.
It's really tough job. It can be really good paid, but it's a tough life for sure.
And basically, your head is always, as we say in Balkans, your head is always in the bag.
Mm,
It's not safe.
sometimes literally, unfortunately. But nevertheless, you're not driver. Luckily, you're doing other stuff because we're here today. We are talking about agrobusiness, agrotech, agriculture, you name it, and you're the guy that's involved with it. So my question, which I would like to start with, general impression is that today it's really popular for people to start their business in agriculture. Before it was more like, I don't know, I will do some fancy job with the tie and stuff. Now I'm gonna do producing rakia, I'm gonna do this and this, so many different things. Why do you think people do this?
I noticed the same thing as you said, and it's true. And I noticed this with a simple reason. I get more and more phone calls from people my age or younger asking me, I am an IT guy. I inherited some land from my grandfather. I want to do something with this. So then
Mm,
we go into the topic. And you can see a very good idea, and then on the other hand, you see people that don't have a clue what it is, never did something on the land, never
mm.
got their hand dirty. So it's basically, I think it's becoming sexy. I'm doing
It
my
is.
own products. I'm doing my own apples. I'm doing my own nuts or whatever.
Mm,
Like you said, producing rakia. It's very nice when you come, to meet your friends and you bring your own alcohol, but it's your own. You made it, so it's
yeah.
it's interesting.
Do you think it's good?
Well, it is good, and but a very important reason, when we had these COVID problems and so on, you
Mm-hmm.
could easily see that a lot of people took a step back. They went to recover their old gardens, and then understood that you need basic food to survive. And
Mm,
I think the basic instincts in us kicked in, and people said, okay, we will grow potatoes, we will grow onions, we will grow whatever we need.
mm,
And then it became popular. And then you, of course, you have the industry that recognizes this. And if you click now on any search engine, you can easily find all the manuals, all the ingredients. You can find, small size agriculture raw materials like fertilizer and so on. So
mm.
it's the market is adapted to the users.
Yeah.
So you can do it tomorrow, basically.
I found that there are like at least three times of people that I noticed that are doing it. Some, as you said, during the pandemics, it's easier to get your mind off of things and just do this thing in your garden. Second, you cut the cost for food. You do this, you make the food for yourself. You don't buy it and you can save some money. And the third type of people that want to be a lucrative thing to earn money from it. Do you think it can be lucrative, or depending of how big land you have, what you do? I guess there are many factors.
So if you ask me how much money is there in agribusiness, I know very big companies that earn a lot of money. Unfortunately, in European Union, there is a catch. Usually, big companies are also attracting a lot of subsidies. So when you look at their financial result, it's not true. You have to take out the subsidies and then see the naked business plan. Are they making money or not? For example, you have that in Serbia. If you go to Serbian farmer, if he's a positive farmer, if he's producing, earning money, that means he is a good farmer because he doesn't have subsidies. He has, symbolic few euros per hectare or something. And
No
then
fake.
you have 50 kilometers from Serbia, you have Croatia, where if you take the subsidies from a Croatian farmer, he will go bankrupt in 2 months because his business plan got adopted for years, using subsidies, and then you start having additional costs. You start buying tractors the size you don't need, and you just waste resources. Why? Because the money is there, it's available, it's for free. It's being used wrongly. I'm sad because of that. But farmers, if you look at the garage, I don't think there is a poor farmer with a bad car. It's it's good brands. A lot of them are very honest, hardworking, and they deserve to drive whatever they like. They can drive a Lamborghini if they want. But a lot of them misuse it. They produce the product just so they can get the subsidies. They minimize the cost, they minimize the quality, they minimize everything in order just to apply for subsidies and then use that money as a profit. That's wrong.
What do you think should be changed just to get avoid? There are some subsidies, not that they are not in countries in the Balkans that are not part of EU, but they are not for sure. They cannot be compared to the ones that EU countries receive for sure. What should be done?
Yeah, if you go to, if I have a few minutes, I can explain very easy.
That's why you're here. Talk as much as you want.
The EU subsidies are basically a big amount of money that rich countries put on a pile, and then the poor countries are planned to use it. And the only reason there are subsidies is for the poor countries to catch up with the productivity of advanced EU countries. That's the reason. So this big pile of money is divided in two groups, two parts. One is called direct subsidies. So basically, if you are having 1 hectare of apples, there is a written rule that if you do everything correctly, if you apply for the right paperwork, you will get fixed, for example, in Croatia, 300 euros per hectare. You will get it for free. It will be on your account, money. And the other pile is so-called Rural Development Fund. It's basically application-based financing, where you as a farmer have to come up with an idea, with a business plan, and in this business plan you have to describe the problem you are having and what will you do with the money if you get it. And then if you get it, it's basically for free. You don't have to return it. So you can combine the two subsidies, and you can, if you're clever enough, you can live very good from that. And if you are honest, then you can catch up with the productivity of the other countries. But if you are, street smart, you will just declare every year that you are not still developed and you need more money and you need more money, and then you just enjoy the money. So I would go there to check.
Yeah. If you came from European Commission, you would check where the money goes, but still, I guess nobody checked or they don't care.
Well, I know the numbers for Croatia, and sometimes they are very disappointing. And but in the last few years, there is a European office. It's called European Prosecutor's Office, where they have the special department that controls only the rural development funding. And they basically cooperate with the local authorities, and that's one of the biggest advantages of EU in my mind, they have the right to come to a specific country of EU, wherever they like, and ask for a specific farmer for a specific business plan and check it from beginning to the end, and then see where the money went. And based on those results, they can put you in jail.
Whoa.
And if you know from where we grew up in this area, Balkans, that would never happen with the local politicians.
Of course
You
not.
agree?
Yeah, totally.
So basically you have the international police.
And yeah, I see. And can you imagine, so you mentioned how the street smart are doing, how the regular ones that are trying to be competitive are doing. Can you imagine like a standard farmer from Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, without any incentive from government or the EU or whatever? What this person, as you said, some IT guy approach you, and what do you think this person should do to develop, to make something to be competitive, to be lucrative enough, to get, I guess, land, to get everything possible? But what would you suggest to start with? Which product? Which just
so I understand you. So basically, I give out a lot of lectures to farmers and to producers. Usually, it's within a framework of a local government or a EU initiative to increase the knowledge and so on. And I almost every time when I'm in a group of 10, 20, or 50 farmers, I tell them the same sentence in the beginning. Personally, I know a lot of farmers that have 10 hectares of land and they live very good. And I know also a farmer with 500 hectares of land and he is, up to here with problems and he doesn't know what to do. So basically, it's not about the size of your farm, it's how you manage it.
And so the size doesn't matter here.
Well, sometimes yes, but you have to pick the right product and then scale it up. It's same like any other startup.
Yeah.
You have to pick the right area, you have to solve the right problem, and then you just scale it up.
Got it. Yeah. But you need to start smaller and then slowly build it up.
Yeah, and also, it's very. In my head, I see it very easy. If you never went to the farm, if you never went to the land, and you never did anything, you remember the tests we did in school. You put one bean in glass, and then you see it grow.
Of course.
That's a good experience. You put one bean in your apartment in Hamburg or wherever you are. You can buy a bean in supermarket. You soak it in water for 24 hours and you put it in a handful of dirt. If it grows up, you're a farmer. You just need to replicate that for a million times.
Simple.
Yeah. So basically, if somebody is considering going into food production or agriculture, they need to decide immediately, is this something they want to live from or is it just a hobby? If you want to have 10 trees of plum and make your own schnapps, that's okay. But then you need to figure out the numbers and to see maybe, okay, I will probably lose 5,000 to 10,000 euros per year, but then I will have high quality schnapps and that's okay. That's the cost of my high quality schnapps. But if you want to do sales and marketing of your brandy, then you have to consider a different approach, to see good seedlings, not to make mistakes, not to let the trees die, bring irrigation systems, and so on and so on. So it's completely, when you are starting, you need to decide, are you an amateur, a hobbyist, or you really want to do something?
Do you think that there's a third option, like to be investor and just pick up the incentives? That's it. It's like a good option, or like being between, like you invest, you're a bit involved, not too much. Yeah.
That's a good question. There is a good example actually in Serbia. I will not mention their name because it's a private company.
Is it the one with nuts?
Yeah. I can, if you allow me, I will say their name.
Say. Yeah, maybe you can call them also in the show. Yeah,
it's called the Walnut Fund. What they do basically is they collect possible investors that want to invest in a field of walnuts. So if you imagine you are thinking now, okay, I will put 1,000 seedlings of walnut in the land, I need machinery, I need people, I need knowledge, I need to prepare the land, I need analysis of the chemicals, la la la. And then this company shows up and they say, okay, you want to invest in walnuts, but you don't have enough money. Okay, why don't we say we will give you, we are planning to plant 1,000 walnuts in Serbia in this and this lot. If you want, you give us 200 euros per walnut and you can choose how many trees you want. So basically it's like an investment fund, but with real opportunity. So you buy three, 4, 5 trees you like, and they mark them, they put them in the land, they grow them up, and then you start receiving the money back.
And do you think it's a reasonable investment? Have you read their business plan?
Well, I mean, it's in the end, it comes back to the trust. You know, if they collect your money now and they put some branches in the land and nothing comes up in 5 or 6 years, then you're screwed. So you have to trust them. But of course, if you know what you are doing, like you should any investment, then you would go to talk to them, you would meet them, you will see where the land is. You would ask for a certificate about their seedlings, you know, the small trees, and then you will get some information. But in the end, you have to wait for 5, 6 years to get your money. So you don't know until it grows.
So, as you mentioned before, for every type of investment or activity you do in agriculture, it takes time. It's a long-term thing to do. And with this thing, it's not so long time, but it takes at least 4 or 5 years for the investments to come back.
Exactly. But it has the power of crowdfunding, you know.
Yeah, totally understand.
And with the money they collect, they can do, you know, the more money they collect, they can go do more quality jobs. So the basically it pays off if you invite some other people to do it also.
Yeah, and
it's a good idea. I would support it. I didn't invest personally, but I would support it. It's a great idea and it can be replicated to whatever you like.
To any other product that somebody can also take over and do the same stuff. Yeah, it's I also that's kind of like a agro-fin tech, so to say. It's a combination.
You know, and then you know, if you are like me, my wife always tells me I think too much about these things. I would think about 2 or 3 additional things that you can do with this idea. So why wouldn't you put a sensor on each tree? You know, basic sensor with 2 or 3 different informations. And if you bought one tree from Hamburg, and you have the code for this tree, and you go online and you check what is the temperature, what is the sunlight, and you take care of your tree through internet. So you are connected with this tree every day if you like. You know, you get live feed. You can put a camera on top of the whole tree house, and you can pinpoint where your tree is, what is going on. Is it, you know, there? Is it growing? So,
yeah, real time.
It's endless possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. It's really cool, but then again, it lasts for 5 years. It goes really slow. Maybe it's make more sense for cows, chicken, yeah, something like that. But it's still, I still like the idea. Yeah.
So last year I was invited by an organization from Zagreb. It's called Lean Startup Croatia, and I was a mentor for a program that supports women in agriculture. And we were mentoring, really nice. You know, 10 mentors were mentoring 10 female entrepreneurs. And as you mentioned now, there was this one lady, she is growing chickens, and her startup is called Adopt a Chicken. So basically you adopt a chicken, she marks the chicken in the chicken house, and all the eggs that come back from this chicken, they get sent to your address.
Oh.
And there is a live camera in the chicken house, and you can track your own chicken roaming around, eating, sleeping, making eggs, and so on. So it's a fancy. It's a good. I would say it's a good era where we're living. You know, in technology that you can imagine what you can do.
Yeah, it's amazing. But like you're living in a city, there's no way you can have like a chicken farm back in the back of your home, especially when you're in a flat. But you say, I have some chickens of my own. Like this is my eggs. Like they come on, like, see in the camera, that's my chicken over there.
Yeah, exactly. It's there. I have the certificate, and it's there. I can check. I can give you the live feed.
Yeah. I mean, it can also, as you said, replicate on the, especially for fruits or something. Yeah, there's my plums. I have it not in back of my home because I'm living in a flat, but they are in Bosnia, in Montenegro, whatever, Serbia, Croatia. And then you say, yeah, that's mine. They sent me and stuff. It can be done like that,
Cool.
as you said.
And also, you have guys doing hydroponics. Aeroponics and hydroponics.
No,
You
can
know
you
what it
explain?
is?
No.
Basically, it's a technology where you grow products without dirt, without the land. So
Which of, you said two things. Which of those two?
So you have two techniques. Hydroponics, that means that the food for the plant is in water, and the roots of the plant go into water. And they soak up, they sit in the water, and they collect what they need from the water. And then you have an alternative for that. It's called aeroponics. Basically, you make a fine mist. You spray the water, and the roots pick up the ingredients from the mist, from the air. And they grow without soil, and it can be grown inside. You don't need to pick up the sun because you have these special lights. And then you can grow food in Hamburg in a 12-story building somewhere.
I think I saw it. They do it in the Netherlands.
They do it in the regions where you have high, super cities, and the fresh product is in high demand.
Oh, and they don't need the land, the surface to spread out, but they do vertically, like on top of each other.
Exactly. It's called vertical farming. You have a few good startups. One of them is in Berlin. It's actually financially successful. It's operating very well. And if you look at like this, so basically you can take space, like an old train station or something that is not used. It can be a size of 1,000 square meters. And if you put production into 10 stories, that means you built 1 hectare of product in 1,000 square meters. So that's a good use of territory, of the land that we do not have. It's not the earth is not growing, so we need to go up.
Yeah, you on 1/10 of the hectare you do the same amount. Yeah, you be efficient.
Exactly.
More efficient.
So and people are making aeroponics in their apartment, and they are taking orders online from their neighbors. So
really?
you want to make, I don't know, zucchini for Sunday. So you basically order this lady, and she grows the zucchini for you, and you can see it live where it is when it's finished. Loading like in an app. And she just picks it up and gives it back to you. She sends it to you.
I saw people doing on the terrace with the soil, but this is, as you said, it's without soil. It's just
you just need a special. It's not chemicals. It's a mix of water with nutrients, and it needs to be done with somebody that knows what they're doing. Not to burn the plants or they die or so on. So it's a very interesting area. I think it will develop a lot. And as I know, a few months ago, the biggest German vertical farming company, they went to Dubai. Dubai is interested to build a warehouse and to grow their own food on sand.
Not surprised. They have ski center there, and they have only desert and they need food. So more than skiing.
And if you think like this, you can go in the middle of the desert and do this without a problem. Or even an alternative, you can make a floating farm.
You mean you don't need land?
You take an old boat, you put the technology in, and you grow food in the middle of the ocean.
It reminds me of that movie with what's
Kevin
the name
Costner.
of the? Yeah, exactly. But he was doing with the soil, so it doesn't count, and with his urine. So
yeah, he was. You mean on Mars or what?
On Mars as well, and Kevin Costner. You're right. This one he was doing without urine. No, he also urine, I guess.
No, Kevin Costner. I think the movie is it's all water and the dirt is scarce. And he has 1 cup of dirt and 1 plant inside, and he's keeping it, very, very hardly. But there is also a good movie about Mars. I
Yeah,
don't
with
remember.
Matt Damon.
Martian.
Matt Damon.
Martian.
Exactly,
Martian,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
He's growing potatoes all year
Exactly.
long.
Nuts. But
It's a
yeah.
bit fictive, but okay.
But I see they put a lot of effort of I think he was actually the expert of growing plants, and by
Yeah.
accident he was the one left over, and yeah, he figured out how to grow them. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
but
figure.
if it's basic mathematics, you cannot grow more and eat it and then go to the toilet and then grow back again. It's not.
He said, as I remember, up until some point you can do
Yeah.
it, and he said I have still some time left if they don't save me. Yeah, please, audience, correct us if I'm wrong. Write this down what actually happened, or we can watch it again. So
Basically, but if we go to this, from the movie, from the industry, if you go to real life,
Mhm.
I think the most advanced technology now is with Elon Musk, and he's investing very hardly in going to Mars.
Mhm.
And the basic thing you need in Mars when you get there is oxygen and food.
Exactly, and he's focused on that, not only the rockets
But
and
if
satellites.
if we are talking now about this technology that is available, you can imagine what army or the military or what Elon Musk has developed now, but he's not giving it up in the audience.
He's just now focusing on Twitter and like, oh, we're going to talk about Twitter, not about what he's developing in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an IT expert or social media expert. I see that
Yeah.
Twitter is working fine without 50% of the people.
Yeah. Onat, do you think so as well?
Well, I'm not commenting anything about the Twitter. I'm
So
not.
yeah,
Yeah, it is a bit aggressive thing for tech industry. But for this vertical farming, I want to ask, like, is it still, I guess, inefficient for in terms of electricity, use of power? Uh, is it correct? And what are the? I guess we are not still available to grow every plant, right?
So there are plants specifically chosen that you can grow fast,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the shorter period of growth, and they also need less nutrients, less sun, and so on. So you can optimize the energy cost, but the biggest, I mean, I would say the biggest award would be if you can use solar power and grow
Yeah.
it just by introducing electricity from above. So, you know, put it in batteries and then grow it 24 hours. But if you need to invest more power, then your cost goes up.
doesn't make sense. And what about other trends that you can find, like in the Balkans? You mentioned the chickens. You mentioned this financial option with financing the walnuts. Do you find some other interesting ones or possibilities in the countries that can be used?
In the last 2 years, almost 2 years, I worked for a startup that it's going in direction of plant-based, so no meat,
Hmm.
and talking about proteins, just basic proteins. You grow a plant, you invest in a technology that can actually dissolve the plant in parts on a molecular level, and you just pick up proteins that you need, and the rest of the plant you use for feed for livestock, for animals, or
So
you
nothing
use
is
it
thrown away.
or you use it alternatively for some glue industry or whatever. It's so basically, if you take any kind of, I don't know if you ever heard about legumes.
I guess some call it in the Balkans Bob. So,
Well, bob is one
that's
one plant that goes
one
in the
type
group
of
of
legumes. Okay.
legumes. You
Hmm.
you know you have beans, broad beans, red beans, and so on.
Ah, that's all.
Uh, ba-
Okay.
yeah, it's all one big family.
All that looks in a
Basically,
shape of kidney
yeah,
shape.
kidney beans, kidney
Kidney
beans.
bean. Yeah.
So basically, if you take legumes as a group of plants, if you go in their material, what they are made of, they are
Hmm.
made of proteins, they are made of starch, and some fibers. That's the three basic components of the plant. So you can, with the new technology available, you can make it, apart. You can take the whole plant apart and pick what you need.
That's amazing.
And then if you get a powder that is 98% protein, then you can put it in each dish you like. So you can increase the protein intake of your food just by adding protein powder inside. And it's 100% natural, no chemicals are inside. It's just basic component of a plant. And this is now something that is happening in the world. If you input, if you search for plant-based proteins and so on, you have millions of companies starting, and you have maybe a few successful companies that are trying to take this powder that is made out of plant and reproduce it to look like a meat.
Is it also based on legumes or some other plant?
Mostly it's based on legumes. Before it, you can take protein from any plant you like. It just depends what is the protein content of the plant. So if it's 2% of the whole plant, then it's not lucrative for you. But if it's 30%, then it's better. And
with legumes, how much is it? Legumes?
28 to 35%. Depends on what you plant. So it's right at this moment, it's financially lucrative. Because, if you look 2 years ago, I think there was a first Burger King, plant-based Burger King in Great Britain. And the whole store is plant-based. You cannot get any meat. You just go inside and everything is plant-based. You had last year first green McDonald's in Köln. So it's also plant-based. So the industry is trying to go there. It's still more expensive than the usual burger. But they are trying to scale it up and then reduce the cost and so on. So it's an interesting topic.
Honestly, I tried it. And if you do a blind test, I will not tell the difference. Yeah,
that's okay. Usually, with 98 people I talk about this, they tell me, come on, plant-based burger, it cannot be true. I like meat, I eat a lot, and I like it, but I gave it a chance, and I agree with you. If somebody didn't tell you before, you cannot know.
Completely. I see someone making it looks really on, and you see it also bacon. I didn't try this one. I tried the paste, the patty itself, the burger. Really, honestly, I would not tell the difference. I thought it was they make from some beans or stuff. When I take a look a bit, but as you said, it's based on legumes, so maybe if they don't mask it up with the colors and stuff, good enough. But nevertheless, I also saw there's also another technology. There's nothing to do with plant. But they're taking chemicals, then they reproduce the meat based on a single cell. But it's really expensive. I don't know, 2 chicken nuggets cost, 300 euros or something.
You cannot sell that in the Lidl.
It doesn't have... Excuse me, Onat, go.
No, I said you cannot sell that in the Lidl.
No.
Well, they will get there eventually. But the cell business is actually... they are trying to grow. They go down to molecular level of the meat. They take the base cells and they try to reproduce it so fast that it becomes a bulb of meat. So for example, whenever a new child is born, there are some stem cells. It's called base cells. That are available in the the birth canal, the birth cord. And if you don't take it then it's never again. You cannot take it from a child anymore. So it's just available at that moment when the baby is coming out. So basically, what these guys do, they go to animals that are pregnant, that are having babies, and they take these cells and then they use them they manipulate them and try to get good muscles or someone. They are trying to they are trying to replicate the natural process, but they don't need other organs. They need just the muscle.
Yeah, I see.
That's why it's so expensive. You need a completely controlled laboratory, and you grow just the muscle.
And you need, we are not experts in that area, but I guess they need something to feed that to put in the material to grow from? I don't know which material. Is it just sugar based or whatever? I don't know. It's not up to us. But if somebody knows, please write to us.
I mean, it's one option. If we were hungry, we would probably eat it. But for me personally, I would not go there. I think it's too early. It's it's not controlled. I don't know who is doing it, why is doing it, and so on. So I personally I would not try it. But plant-based, I would try, and I did, and it's okay, because I know for a fact that it's just taking plant into components and then reshaping it back. So it's no invention.
Do you think has a chance in Turkey, in Serbia, and Croatia, in this area, to like in Germany and West Europe?
Is it halal?
Well,
Here's the question.
Plant-based. Yeah, it's plant-based. Actually, the startup I worked for, it's based in Zagreb, and we built a first factory to do this protein powder. It's somewhere near the Hungarian border, and my job was to organize the farmers to produce the legumes. And you can imagine going to 250 houses in 1 year and talking to farmers, what do you think about switching from corn to legumes? And then selling it to us, and we will make a burger from this. And then you get 90% people laughing at you. Come on, Kali, why are you telling me stories? So it's
selling
interesting. Yeah, but it's an interesting thing. And if you see it from a business side, a factory like this can attach thousands of farmers to it, and then they produce something that they can get more money for it, because in the end the protein powder is much more expensive, and the usual markets for this powder is the Western rich countries. So basically you can get a direct benefit for the poor farmer in East to sell burgers to West. That's an idea. But again, you have a lot of industries, a lot of people are talking about plant-based, and then you have also a lot of people that are trying to do something in the gray area and just pick up some money. And you have a startup claiming they will feed a billion people in 2 years. Impossible.
Just sounds bombastic.
Yeah, like coins, like crypto. We will solve the financial crisis of the world, and then in 6 months they are disappeared. So
it lasted a few years at least, but the rush.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, what are the other obstacles for little farmers or opportunities, would you say, in the Balkans?
From my experience, I would say specifically in Balkans, we used to live in a big country, and it was socialist country. I will not go into politics, and my private opinions about democracy or something. But I still see a lot of people trusting in the old system, where there was only government as a buyer, and they produce XY of product, they bring it to the government warehouse, they get the money, and they don't care.
Yep.
The farmer didn't had any opportunity to see the market, to participate in the market, and to get some information back from the market. This is good, this is not, you must change something. They just grow whatever they like, they bring it to the warehouse of the government, and they don't care, they get the money.
One way street, just go there, get the money, that's it.
If you think like this, these people did this for 50 years in Yugoslavia. And then now, we are now democracy, it's free market. You have German, Hungarian, French companies coming here, and they are all buying. They are all financing production, and then they are buying the product. But they get here and they say to the farmer, current price on Chicago C-bot market, futures, it's 3 euros. And the farmer says, no, it's too less for me. Yeah, if you like, if you don't, keep it. And if you go, if you Google 10 major protests from farmers, in 9 of them you will see the guy who is in charge of the protest saying the government should intervene and buy something from us. These people don't know different. They don't know what to do. So I don't blame them. They are brought up and they work in this system, but they need to understand that capitalism is very harsh. It's very difficult if you don't know what you're doing, and it's not a problem if you go to bankruptcy. It's perfectly fine.
Oof, people don't. Yeah, here in the Balkans, it's forbidden to crash, to make a mistake. In the US, in the West, it's totally normal to go from one to another. Here, you just stick with one and you go with it. Is it good or bad? You don't care. It's shameful to fail.
Yeah, but again, the same guys that go bankrupt and they are, crying and what did I do? And I lost my grandfather's land and so on. 3 months ago, they were driving a 360 horsepower tractor. And if you go in a basic calculation, they need about 100 horsepower, no more. And the use of this tractor per hour per year, they use it 2%. They don't need it.
It's just to show off. I have the biggest tractor in the village.
Exactly. I will give you a funny story. I mean, a real story from my life. I got a farmer here. He did a project for 1 year with a big seed company, and he earned about 100,000 euro clear profit. And we were having coffee, and he's asking me, what would you do with 100,000 euros? And I didn't know anything about his business, but I told him, look, take 50%, pay back the loans, and 50% invest in technology, in something that you need. And he told me, I was looking for a new tractor. And I said immediately, come on, you just come up with a profit and you will immediately put it in a machine that will 90% of the year, it will stay in a garage. You don't use it.
Yeah.
I need it, it's better, it's climate, you can put a CD player inside and so on. It has GPS. So basically what he did, he went to the capital, to Zagreb, to the financing company, and he came back and he called me, I bought 2 tractors.
Insane.
What the sales guy did, he told him that down payment for 1 tractor is 50,000 euros. So if you have 100, you can buy 2.
And then later on you pay.
And the guy said, cool, 1 for me, 1 for that. We will have 2 big tractors, through the village and so on. But what they didn't explain to him so easily is, in 3 months, there is about 30,000 euros payment coming back. And if you don't have it, then you're screwed. Yeah.
Then he went for a ride of his life for 3 months going around the village with 2 tractors.
Exactly. So this is a typical story. People buying something they don't need, spending money they don't have, and then coming back. I lost my land. Yeah, sure. Why did you put it in the bank? Why did you use credit on it or something? So it's actually. But if you look at an average farmer in the Balkans, they need to do everything. They need to be agronomists. They need to do sales. They need to drive the tractor. They need to organize the market. It's difficult, and that's why in 2012 I started my own company. I was young, coming from the university. I had a small experience in the first company I worked for, and I was thinking if there would be somebody who can help them with 2 or 3 things that they do every day but they are not capable of doing, like economy. If I offer them to take care of the financing side, the discussion with the bank, and then I offer them a service where I find the market for their product, and they just pay me to do it, and they are good, it's a win-win situation. I earn some money, and that's good. And I ended up doing completely something else, because I did help a few of them, and they told me, yeah, but you didn't do any work. You just picked up the phone and did 2 or 3 phone calls, and I don't think your service is valuable. So that's the story of me trying to be an entrepreneur.
So I noticed 2 things, that it's a cultural things. They're used to, like, the hard work, and that's it. You only trust what they see, and that's it. And the other thing is why it's not so common for the agricultural people to do, as you said, just focus on the production and not the other stuff. Because again, we come back to the first one, lack of general trust. They don't trust anyone, government, they don't trust the neighbor and market, conspiracy theories, you name it.
I mean, a funny story. There was a national initiative in Croatia. It was called the Green and Blue Highway. The intention was that you take the continental Croatia, where you do agriculture, and you connect it to the coastline of Croatia, where there is these fancy hotels and so on, and you put the products from the agriculture to sell them in the hotels, for food. And it's a perfect, a good story. You can get million people interested. You can give a nice presentation about it. You can put some numbers there. It's win-win, perfect. And what I did, I put 5 farmers in the car. I drive to Šibenik, to one big hotel house where I had a friend there, and he was doing procurement. He was buying for the hotel. And I arrange a meeting. I put 5 of them. I go there for a meeting, and the guy tells them, look, I need this and this amount of meat every week on Friday. It needs to be within this and this size and this quality. And I need it every week for 52 weeks, for 1 year. If you can solve this and be, within the price bracket, then I'm your buyer. And they were, enthusiastic. They are the pig producers. They are looking for end users. They are looking to get the biggest value for their product. And driving back home, they managed to fight in the car, and we ended up doing nothing.
About what, if I may ask?
They were concerned about one of them was a bigger producer, and he will earn more because they are smaller. And they ended up fighting.
Coming back to the size matters. I mean, and
I was
thing.
just keeping quiet in the car, and I could not believe it. There is enough hotels in the world to do it. You just need to be organized, but it's impossible. It's just until some younger people come in and take over, but take over not the mindset. They take over the business and think about it in another way, then we could maybe do something. Until this, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, older farmers, they would hate me now, but you cannot change this mindset. It's there, it will never change, and if you want to do something new with it, you will fail. It's impossible.
So you wait for the new generations to come and to change the mindset, and
it's coming right now. It's actually coming right now. You have younger guys thinking about, why wouldn't I invest in a self-propelled robot that will go and water my plums or pumpkins or whatever, and then in the same time I take the tractor and go to another field, so I do double jobs. And then you do the basic calculations, and you see that you can pay, with this kind of work, you can pay the robot off in 2 years. And then you earn money. So this is, things that I like to do. I like to talk with people. I like to give them the basic math calculations.
It's really good. I mean,
this is I take it as a mission. I try to talk with younger people and explaining to them, if you have your own or your family farm, try to do a small thing. Try to do something, introduce a GPS in your tractor. Explain to your father that if you miss 100 meter of length of your land, if you miss by 1 meter, and then you can produce 10 tons of grain in that area, and then you lose it every year.
Wow, that's a really.
And you missed it because you have an old tractor, you don't know, or whatever, what is the size of your land. If you have a GPS and you mark the land correctly, the borders of your land, then the GPS will tell you, okay, you missed here, you missed the part of your land.
I never thought about this. I see in the villages, I mean, with all tractors, they go around. I never pay attention because usually you have borders between 2 parcels. And okay, I guess they do the job. As you said, in the tractor itself, the field that you can see is relatively nearby you, but sometimes you miss the sun, you drink something, whatever. I never pay attention.
Yeah, but if you look at it like this, if you miss 100 meters times 1 meter, that's 100 square meters.
Yeah.
That's not a small thing.
And then you have in Croatia, you have about 170,000 farmers.
Multiply that.
10% of them they miss 100 square meter. It's money. You can buy every year. Invest in a technology or something.
We keep coming. You're right. Completely right. We should be more efficient and pay attention. You keep on coming. Don't buy those big fancy tractors. Invest in technology. You mentioned a couple of examples. Which one would you start with? Like, can you name a few? Like, and repeat those ones that you mentioned. Make a list.
So good. So in area where we live, the central, I would say Balkans or the continental side, not the coastline. You can see that in the last few years, especially, the temperature is increasing. I'm not, I would say, I'm not, save the planet guy, but you can see it clearly. The temperatures are rising, and the cultures that you grow are changing. So basically, you have people usually grow mandarins and oranges in the coastline of Croatia. Now you can find mandarins in near Zagreb. They succeed.
I need to tell you, around niche area, I tried just a month ago homegrown kiwi. It was the sweetest one I ever tried in my life. I would never imagine more of our region in Serbia. I will eat the best kiwi in my life.
And that's why, if you think like this, the drought is a big problem in agriculture.
Unfortunately.
And you remember 20 years ago when they said, any country that has their own water source will be a rich country. It's happening right now. It's actually happening right now. Not for us to drink, the amount of water that we drink is nothing compared to amount of water that goes in the watering of our product.
Yeah.
If you grow watermelons, if you grow paprika or whatever, it's a staggering amount of water. And if you don't have access to this water, and if you don't have technology to irrigate your product, you lose about 30 to 40% of your product. And it's self-explanatory. If you lose 30% of your production, then you will never get to profit.
Yeah.
I will give you a concrete example. I had an opportunity to work with potato growers. The two farmers are 5 kilometers apart. One of them had last year, 21 season, had about 18 tons of potatoes per hectare, and the other one had 56.
That's huge.
The other one has a expensive irrigation system, and he was actually measuring the daily averages of temperature. And then during night, he was awake, he didn't sleep, and he was turning on the irrigation system when it needs. So he was calculating, okay, now the plants drink this and this amount of water. I need to be there every 1.5 hours and start the irrigation system for 20 minutes and then shut it off. So it's a little bit primitive technology, but he managed to get 4 times more.
And now it can be easily optimized just to follow and switch and Internet of Things.
There are actually the systems, but they are very expensive. So this guy actually understands what is behind this, and he managed to get 300% more in the same conditions.
So you would invest in this technology that
I would go in sensor technology, and I would start with irrigation systems, and then I would invest in good machines, not expensive tractors, but there are some good and innovative machines that take out the weeds without damaging the plants, without spraying chemicals, and so on and so on. So that would be the first thing I would go.
How do they look like? I never imagined those. They go in the simple cornfield or the one for the plums or trees or whatever?
Well, agriculture became, if you go in, 10,000 years ago, people decided to stay in one place because they could grow their own food. And then if you look at from there until today, it's not comparable. But agriculture 100 years ago and agriculture today is light years away. So it's being developed every day. And for example, there are robots, commercial robots that you can buy today. They are self-propelled. They have batteries, and they actually go between the lines of the product. They take live feed pictures, like video, and they analyze every plant they see. So they take a picture of one part of your land, and they say, okay, this is corn, this is corn, this is corn, this is not corn. And they take a hot laser and destroy it. And then this robot can repeat this for a whole day and whole night. He doesn't need daylight. You can just tell him, go to this and this field. It's 20 hectares big. And go between every line and do this the whole day and whole night. And if you need recharge, come back and I will give you electricity. And you just go do whatever you like. And it's available. You can buy it today.
So you mentioned those robots. You mentioned sensors, irrigation system, modern irrigation system that's automized. And yeah, I also heard and I saw that a lot of them are using drones. But is it just when you start? Do you use it every day, or like when you start seeding, when you see it's growing and the ending part, and you just compare? Yeah. Or
so the drone industry, it's like an how would you say? It's becoming a branch for itself.
Mm-hmm.
The drone as a machine is a base, and today you have drone companies. So you have two different ways of doing business with drones. You can buy it for yourself as a farmer and then try to operate it on your own, or you have drones as a service. You have companies that have multiple sizes or multiple choices what to do with drones. They come to your field by order. You call them and tell them what you need. They come, they attach a special camera what you need, or a special sensor, and they just do the service for you. You pay it as a service, and that's it. Drones actually have, I think, the biggest one I saw has about 9 functions. It can do 9 things at once. And I think you can actually put a canister, a storage tank on top of it. Mm-hmm. And you can precisely spray chemicals to destroy the weeds on your field.
In the area that he finds them, sensors them, and just...
So same like the robot. You bring it to the field, you give it around your field, you mark the borders, and you tell him, scan the whole area. Whatever is not corn, find it and spray it.
So this is like the ground infantry, and this is the Air Force attack on the...
But what you get with this, so you don't have to walk to this area where there are weeds. Usually, even today, people put the small sprayers, on their back. And they just go through the field and they look with their eyes, okay, here I have weeds, so they spray a little bit. Or alternatively, the big farms, the big companies, they just put 10,000 liters of chemicals in a tractor and they spray the whole thing. They don't care where is it or where it's not. They just spray the whole field.
And it only kills the weed, not the product itself.
Yes, but the whole other product is in chemicals.
Yeah.
So the benefit of the drone is actually you don't have to do it. It's doing it faster, and it's a very precise machine where you don't spray chemicals you don't need to spray. So it has a multiple function. On the other hand, you can use a drone to scan your land, to tell you where there is missing water, where you have excess water. And what I like the most about drone technology, and I saw this on my own, I visited a company that's doing this, they can actually tell you, not so 100% precisely, but they can anticipate diseases. So they measure the color of the leaves, the intensity of the green color, or whatever product you're growing, and based on the Internet of Things or the database available, they can tell you that, when this leaf is going, much more whiter than the other one, it's 99% chance that you will grow this and this disease. And then if you think about it commercially, the drone itself, the system, the software, can immediately connect you to a supplier of the chemical you need, and you can place an order online directly. So commercially, the drones are a good business, and it will be a good business.
I don't know if it's my Balkan mentality, but immediately a light bulb turned out. Like people can easily manipulate this. They can say like, "Hey, you need this for sure," but again, it's based on trust again.
Yes, but the assumption is that also the farmers know what they are doing. They will not just,
Usually,
listen.
when they employ drone, they usually have some high level of knowledge, experience. Not to offend anyone, but it usually goes in that direction. It's the tendency.
Yeah, usually like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what I told you. The last 10 minutes we are talking. This is extreme. This is the latest technology available. But you don't have to go in that direction. Basic water source. For example, maps of the area with different filters. You can get temperature maps, you can get mosquito maps, you can get disease maps. It's already available online. You just subscribe to a service, you pay $50 per year, and you get updates for weekly about what's going on in your area. If you invest in yourself and learn how to read those maps, then you are already, one step ahead.
So start small, start simple, and gradually evolve, but start at
Exactly.
any point.
Whatever you need, but just if this is something you want to do, if I think unfortunately a lot of farmers will have to stop being farmers because the business is not there, their model is not there. They will not survive. They will just go in more and more depths, and then eventually it will be taken from them. So they need, they need to think about if it's still not how to say burdened by credit, maybe think about leasing it to somebody else who knows what they're doing, or selling it as a whole and just using the capital for something else. I saw unfortunately a lot of people pushing their own agenda, being stubborn, and then losing it in the end. It just goes away.
It's a scissor business. As long, you'll climb, but eventually you'll come back to the start.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mentioned capitalism in the beginning. You have a lot of big companies that they need more land and more land and more land, and they will actually manipulate you for 1 or 2 or 3 years, and have an agenda in mind. The end result will be that your land becomes their land. They will give you a credit. They will tell you what to do. They will tell you, we have this exotic plant you can plant for us. We will buy everything for you. And then you invest, you take a credit from them. You put it in the land, you grow it, and then they say, the market changed it, and we can give you maybe 1/3 of this price, and then you are screwed.
And they take it over. It sounds to me like a perfect story for like a backstory for like a villain. They took away from me everything, and then I'll come back to them.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look, the bigger picture, you can see, for example, I think Microsoft just went out publicly that they have a AgriTech startup.
Okay.
And you have Bill Gates personally buying about 100,000 hectares somewhere in
What
USA.
A surprise!
Even in Turkey.
Well, I don't blame him, but it's a good lighthouse. The next big thing will be probably food.
It will, for sure. We saw it in pandemics. It was the only thing, not the only thing, but besides tech, it was growing and having more potential than any other industry. Yeah,
I would say the pandemic was a big wake-up call for everybody, because we are used to going online, ordering something, and it will be here in 3 days. And then, the containers from China stop, and you don't have anything to eat in 1 week. So we need to rethink the strategy. And also, I'm not the guy who proclaims, self-sufficiency and, we don't need anybody else. Of course, we need somebody. but it would be good if we would be a little bit more organized.
Yeah,
You know,
totally agree. Yep.
I was talking to some local politicians here in Croatia about, they like to brag about, Croatia is a belly of the Europe. We can feed the Europe. We can produce grains and so on. And the basic numbers tell differently. Hungary has about 10 times more grains than Serbia and Croatia together. You cannot compete with grains from Hungary, but Hungary cannot produce mandarins and oranges. So maybe we can think about some, you do grains, we will do fruits and so on. So this is okay. And also one big, highlight that I like to talk about, the productivity.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to official statistics, for example, Croatian farmer, if you look at 1 hectare of land available, they produce about $7,000 of product in 1 hectare. You know who is the best?
Can't guess.
Per hectare. Or not?
No idea.
Netherlands.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
They produce about 80,000.
I read somewhere.
They produce 12 times more per hectare than Croatia.
I think the best universities and tech hubs and wherever in agriculture are there. I read multiple times.
Of course,
ahead of US.
They are experts in flowers, and 1 hectare of flowers is a lot more work than 1 hectare of grain. But
True.
Who is preventing us to plant flowers?
True, fair.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of farmers telling me, my grandfather used to plant corn, and I will continue to make corn. And I just say, okay, it's your choice, but you are shooting yourself in the foot. For corn, you need millions of hectares, and you need a good business plan. If you don't do it, if you don't produce the biggest, the most expensive, the most high quality corn, then you will not succeed.
True. I mean, Balkans itself has a lot of potential. I can name just a few. You mentioned mandarins in south of Croatia and Neretva Valley, which I found a fascinating story how they came up there, but it's a story for itself. But not to digress right now. We have roses in Bulgaria. We have paprika in Macedonia and Serbia. We in Albania. Lots of different stuff, especially what's the name of the one which has THC? Content. Yeah, but there's an official name of this plant.
Industrial hemp.
Hemp, yeah, thank you. I was looking for hemp. It's more subtle to say hemp. Olives in Greece, in Albania as well, in Istria, in Dalmatia. Some different products that you can find in other areas, but in this specific one has a high level of quality and specific a brand is for itself. Other agricultural products like cheese, stuff, are also valuable. Also, the canopy, I think, is in Macedonia, or the poppy. Sorry, poppy has more concentration of morphium thing than in Afghanistan, for instance. Again, we're talking about drugs, but I would say that there are things that are really useful in some other areas that are not illegal or whatever. And they have potential, and we, as you said, don't focus on the corn, which for some reason, if you can make the best corn in the world, but focus on things you have there.
Look, I know personally a guy in continental Croatia. He's producing mostly corn, and he's driving a Maybach. It's
not bad.
250,000 euro car, and he's parking it next to a harvester in the shed. And if you talk to this guy, he's old school. Of course, he's not earning money only on corn. He's earning money, financing other farmers, smaller ones, trading with fertilizer, with everything. But he is pushing the thing he knows, and he understands that he needs to be the biggest one. He needs to earn as much as possible. And then, but this is just pure survival. It's not a sustainable business model. So, and of course, Maybach is just, for show off.
Exactly. Totally understand. But talking about specialization, some areas of Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, we name it, cannot go easily go with plum, for instance. but you kind of like connect, you specialize of giving for fertilizing, whatever, just make a community connect, and that will be like the biggest strength, I guess, not just in country-wise, but interconnected between countries.
I would say that the biggest issue or the biggest challenge is to, I mean, you can't, it's not easy to do, but you know, if you imagine it like this, if you, after your work, you finish, for example, at 5, and you, on your way home, you go to buy groceries. You go into a supermarket, and what is your filter? How do you filter your food? By price, by quality, by size, by looks, by
Brands.
Everything. All of the, I
Yeah.
cannot name it one, but it's just
Yeah, but you know, usually, you know, if you have bio bananas and you have regular bananas, you will say to the guys, "Oh, screw you! I will not give you €3 per kilogram. I will buy these ones with A180."
most of
And
the time, yeah.
if you stop for a moment and think like this, maybe the bio bananas are grown 1 kilometer from you, and a whole family is surviving from this bio bananas. But you choose to go to the cheaper ones that came by boat. They are green and they are chemically treated in a warehouse to be yellow. And then you buy it and you support that business model. You are not supporting the family that is living from bio bananas. So I know, you know, it's not utopia and we cannot all finance the most expensive things. But, you know, you could think a little bit more locally. You can buy, you know, Ivar from Macedonia. Because it's high quality, you can pay it a little bit more, but you know the money goes to a poor family or a smaller organization that will invest in more production. So this way you could help a little bit. Everybody could help a little bit. Why am I telling you this? I had a small discussion with one of my friends. He was complaining. He went to a local supermarket, you know, a big chain from Germany. And he read on the declaration, on the small print, that this is second-class mandarins. And he was looking around trying to find the first class, and it's not available. There is no. And he was complaining to me, you know, how are they allowed only to sell second-class mandarins? You know, they need to sell first-class mandarins to Croatians because it's made in Croatia. We need to have access to them. So my question to him was, would you give €10 per kilogram for first-class mandarins? And he said, no, are you crazy? And I said, yeah, that's what the supermarket thinks. They will not offer you €10 mandarins because nobody will buy them. So what they do is they take the first class from the farmer, they bring it to Great Britain where they will get €10 per kilo, and they offered second class to you because you can afford €3 per kilogram. It's harsh, it's very problematic, but this is the market, this is capitalism.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned, sorry, mandarins again. Could you tell the story of how the mandarin came to Croatia? Because it's not local thing.
I will be honest, I don't know the exact story. Maybe if you know it, you can tell.
I know. It's please also, who knows better than me, please write us. I know some story has to do with Japan. That Japanese ambassador, I think it was during the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, so in the 1930s, he came to visit in that area. He brought the tree of mandarin. Luckily, it found really good climate and everything. It really grew good. And our local mentality there is like, whoa, why should not make a business out of it? And that's how they started. The Japanese guy brought it. That's like a really superficial and short story. Probably it's more it can be said to that. But that's how I know it. And nowadays, if somebody can also pay attention, there's videos. It's really cool. They go with boats in canals and they pick the mandarin on the boats. I didn't saw this anywhere. It's really, there's a cool story behind it. Really amazing.
Exactly. That's it's. I would say that if you are a mandarin producer, you can earn more money by telling a story, not just by producing the mandarin.
Every product, I guess.
If I would inherit, if I would inherit any land or any production from my grandfather or from somebody, I would try to tell the exact authentic story about this field and about this product. And you can earn more by people coming to see this than just, you know, producing plums or apples or mandarins or whatever. For example, if you travel to Great Britain by plane, you get these small flyers, you know, in your front seat. And you can actually buy a field trip visit to a farming unit, you know, area, and you can buy it directly in the plane. Visit.
Okay.
So you go to your hotel, for example, in London or Manchester or wherever, and they organize a field trip for you to go to a farmer. You go to this farmer, and it's a typical Balkan area. You have 3 pigs, 2 cows, 1 chicken, 1 cat, and this guy is selling, 1 glass of milk for £1 or whatever. And he told me, I earn more money from the visits than from the farm, and the animals are here only to show off. I don't care about the animals. So, but this is somebody about a tourist agency or a tourist board or tourism ministry thinking about, okay, how can we help this farmer to stay there, not to abandon the farm and go into the city and make problem for apartments, for everything. So it's a system.
That's amazing. It should be like that in the whole, not Balkan region, but everywhere else in the world, to promote, to have like a system. Imagine the stories, the branding itself with cheese example. There's also in Serbia making cheese out of and milk from the donkeys, which is the most expensive cheese in the world. I guess it's 1,000 euros per kilo. I guess it's a special one, but nevertheless, it's a story. You get the milk from donkey. Like nobody thought about this before or had them, so it's the story itself. It's about Ivar as well, rakia, tangerines, mandarins. The story itself nowadays can make up for anything.
Yeah. Whenever I travel abroad, anywhere, people ask me, where are you from? I say Croatia. Oh, the sun and the shore. And I tell them, no, 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 no. I come from different Croatia. It's about, individual storytelling. You have to tell people about if you like it, if you want to build it, your regional space, then you need to tell story and make marketing about it. I was pissed a few years ago, Anthony Bourdain, the famous chef. He was visiting Croatia. He made a TV episode about Croatia. And I was very excited to see it.
Was it shortly before the suicide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I hated the episode because they started on a boat in the coastline.
Typical.
They had some oysters. Then they went to a tuna fish production. They ate sushi. And they got drunk and eat heavily in a wine cellar somewhere in Split. That's it.
Out of all the possibilities.
I was pissed off. I mean, come on, you missed about 70% of the country. You have so nice foods, sausages and goulash in eastern Croatia. You have northern Croatia. You have this Austrian influence, kremšnite and so on.
Yeah.
And you can go to Gorski Kotar for cheese and for potatoes and bacon. I mean,
also Strukler.
Exactly. They can bring him all over the Croatia, and they ended up eating prosciutto and having wine. He can do that in whatever, in Italy.
In all Mediterranean, literally all the Mediterranean.
But this only tells me that the guy who was his fixer in the area promoted himself a little bit, and that's it. And that's wrong.
Most likely, yes. On the situation with promoting Turkey in terms of food, agriculture, what's the situation? Also typical one for tourists.
Like in German, for the tourists, I mean, people mostly goes for the food, not for the, agriculture and how is it called? The concept of the farm. And it's not very popular because the farms are still like 100 years ago here. They are doing the same things. They are planting the same seeds as their fathers, and it is not going anywhere. And they are either they're selling their land, or they are building like big apartments for their kids, or they're just selling and moving to the cities, big cities. So,
but is there an example of modern way of farming, promoting, as Mato said, like having a specific brand of some product of raki based, I don't know, cheese?
There are actually a lot of companies that are making wine in Anatolia, but they're not selling in Turkey. They're exporting directly outside. And what we are buying
surprise.
what we are buying in the supermarkets are like either some foreigner brand or like shitty wines.
Do you think because of religion in most of Turkey, or there's some other reason?
Productions are made by mostly by the foreigners that they discover that Turkey can grow good grapes, and they are buying lands here. They're making
they're investing.
brands.
Okay.
Yeah, they're making brands. There's of course this religion. People are not doing because of that, or they're stubborn. They don't change anything about what they're doing. But there are also municipalities that are supporting local farmers. For example, in Izmir, my hometown, they're giving them seeds for free, or animals for free for them to grow it. Also, they're buying from them after they grow them, and they have like small markets in the city. They call the municipality market. They're just selling the local products. So some cities are started doing that, and it really helps local farmers to stay where they are and continue what they're doing. But in the tech industry, I met a lot of people, and they were doing a lot of good products about the AgriTech, but they couldn't find any support, or they couldn't find any client to sell their product. So they're mostly moving to the Europe or US. And yeah, people are not seeking any chance to invest in the tech, but they as Mato said, they're tractors.
So, as based on my experience, I think Turkey is very big with walnuts and other nuts.
Yeah, we're producing
stuff.
the 98% of the all nut production in the world, and we are selling to the Nutella, and they're selling us the bag. Also, for example,
there was
because the branding,
there was a big
branding.
clash between Ferrero and Turkish producers. They were demanding higher prices.
Yeah, there were, but I guess government set lower prices, so made them happy, but the farmers were not expecting that.
Yeah, I mean,
we need to create good brands. Sorry.
It's a true example of, I mean, from my standpoint, it doesn't have to be, I don't know. But if the government is always on top, and they try to manipulate the offers and the prices, and they intervene with the market, it never comes bad. It never comes back good. They try to dictate the price. They try to give you the free seed. It's not free. They have to buy it somewhere. So there is a seed importer who is earning a lot of money because he's working with the government. And so in the end, again, they make a disruption. There is probably other seed producers who cannot sell to the government because this guy came in, and So for my standpoint, I would say that
corruption.
Government intervention should only be to make the framework, to make the football field. Don't play the game. Just make the field and take care of the judge so he is honest. Let us play. If we are bad players, if we don't score goals, then go out.
Totally, it's fair play then.
They are even banning that. They're saying like you cannot plant these seeds. You can only plant seeds that we sell in Turkey. We approve in Turkey, and those
because
seeds are mostly not. I know those are mostly not reproducible.
So you have to buy them. What a great model.
Well, you have American Monsanto company. I don't know if you heard about it.
Very famous, yep.
Yeah, they recently bought Bayer.
Yeah, I heard.
So it's the biggest merger in the history of agriculture. And, Croatia is declared non-GMO. And if you trade any product you have to get a certificate that it's not GMO, it's not genetically modified.
Mm.
And then I was in a company where we exported a full train of grains. For example, 1,000 tons in one train. It came to Austria to unload, and the Austrians took some samples to just to confirm the certificates. And they called us back and said, guys, you send us GMO stuff. So the train actually physically returned back to Croatia. They didn't want to unload. And we were discussing in office, okay, we have about 1,000 suppliers, 1,000 farmers who are bringing the product. How the hell will we know which one of them put the GMO seed inside? So basically you just again, we come back to trust. The guy brings 10 tons of product, he has the certificate, you take it and it's okay. You can take a sample for later analysis, but you cannot analyze 1,000 people. It's physically impossible. Yeah. So we go back again on trust. So, and then, you have problems with this. You have to get a special treatment. You have to put it in some feed or something. So it's totally disruptive.
And as I heard about GMO, once it gets into contact into the specific wagon, afterwards it's really hard to get it off. Like whenever you got a new product, it's not GMO, you still find some traces from before. So either you buy a new wagon, or that's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, about GMO, I'm not an expert. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I understand what does genetically modify organism means. That means somebody went into molecular level and modified something to grow differently. Mm. I would be very open-minded with it. Maybe it can help eliminate a problem. But again, if it's private company doing this, then I don't trust it. Mm-hmm. Need to be regulated. These things the government should take care of. There should be an institute, a guard or a police or whatever who will take care of this and have it under control. This is where government should step in. But not, don't step in the price of mandarins. Don't do that.
Yeah. So I've sensed like three things will be essential as a solution: to build a trust, the culture of trust, and to believe in each other. The second one is to build a system where it can function, where government is not there to block anything, but to allow the free flow of organizational things go on. And the third thing that you just mentioned, if you don't follow the rules of the game, as you said, you get a stadium and you do the game, then you get punished. If especially for anything, you throw trash on the street, so on micro level, and that thing should also apply in agriculture as well. So
there is a good documentary online about I don't remember the name. The topic is milk production.
About farting cows, or no? Is the other one?
No. It's about the producer of the documentary. He took 2 milk producers. So they produce the same thing. One of them has a 1,000 cow farm, completely technologically improved, mechanized, automated, state of the line technology. And the other one has about 15 cows, and he takes them out on foot every morning to the hills. And they, through the whole movie, they compared their lifestyle, what they do, what they eat, how they talk to their cows, or how they see the business. Mm-hmm. And in the end, the 2 guys sit in the same table. And they compared a little bit what they do. And I mean, I will leave for the viewers if somebody wants to see it. I don't spoil it. But the conclusion is
people to check it out.
The conclusion is that, nobody is wrong. The guy with 1,000 cows and the technology is not wrong. It's his choice. He does it. But if you don't follow the rules and you misuse your authority or you misuse your position, then it's a problem. But still, even you and me, we go to a supermarket and we expect to have yogurt available. So we need that guy with 1,000 cows. But I expect that if I pay €1 more, then he will not use, some hexane gases or whatever. He will not beat the cows with a stick or something.
Yeah, I understand. Ona, do you have any additional questions?
No, actually, all my questions were answered during the episode.
I don't know what is the time. Are we somewhere?
Don't worry about the time. Don't worry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just have one, actually two. Uh, this is really personal, as you as an agricultural advisor, so to say, consultant. Like,
Can I stop you a little bit? You
yeah,
know, my education is finance.
I know, but our audience also, we made an intro telling that, yeah, it's really interesting what you came from finance to being
So,
specialized in agriculture.
yeah, basically, I have my master's degree in finance, and I
Mm-hmm.
planned to go into the finance industry. I was planning to work for a bank or something. So it's a fortunate accident to gain this experience through agriculture, but have this finance background, and it's becoming more and more popular. I can use it in my daily work.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go to a farmer and I talk to him like I'm talking to you now, and we talk for 2 hours about seedlings, about fertilizer, about yields and so on, and in the end I tell them, I'm finance, and they say, no, you are agronomist.
That's perfect. That
Yeah.
means
So
that
I interrupted you.
no, that's perfect. Our audience should know that means no matter your background, if you find a thing that makes you passionate and you enjoy doing it, your background doesn't mean anything. As long as you invest yourself fully, and you love it and you do it, it's a perfect
It's
match.
an interesting topic that I like. I feel comfortable in it, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, finance helps me a lot to stand out from the other guys doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just a funny story. I was in a farmer meeting one time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were demanding the higher price of grain. And when you ask them what kind of price you would like, then you can hear 150, 170, it should be at least 2 or something, x, whatever the currency is. So my question is, okay, what are you basing this, what is the base for this calculation? And then the whole room stops. What do you mean the base for the calculation? It should be 2. So I take a school chart, and the board, and we go from the beginning. Okay, your land cost is this, your fuel cost is this, the leasing for your tractor is this, the amount of salary you need is this, the seed cost, and then we come to the cost per kilogram about 0.7, and you are demanding 2. So you want to have 200% profit, and then they get quiet and they start listening to me what I'm talking about. So I agree you should get 3, not 2,
Yeah.
but you need to give the argument. There needs to be a story behind it.
For instance, improving the quality, having this
Yeah.
background, brand, yeah, you name it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm selling you 1 liter of milk for 10 euros, but the cow listened to Wagner the whole day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I would
So
definitely buy it.
you were asking me.
Yeah, I was asking, for instance, have some land and I want to plant some tree and don't think about it, or work around it as less as possible. So somehow to have investment in like 10 20 years when it grows and has is stable. Which tree would you advise in the Balkans to be grown?
Okay, one question from my side.
Yeah.
Are you on site or you are 1,000 kilometers away?
1,000 kilometers away, but I have a guy there.
You have a guy there. Okay. The if you are looking for a long run,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are, I would say, if you don't need to survive from this,
No.
if you are not doing this to survive,
Pension. It's my pension, so to
it's
say.
your pension. I would go for the walnut.
Walnut again. Okay. That's what I thought as
because
well.
because you plant the walnut tree,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, when you do the planting, you will go to an expert, to agronomist,
Mm-hmm.
because even if you put the walnuts, the density of the trees matters.
Oh.
The spread between the trees matters. People usually try to maximize. They try to put the most possible trees in their field to get the more trees. But in quality wise, you get lower quality, and in the tree size, you get smaller trees.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut your own legs. So that's why I would consider about the size of your field, the quality of the land, what is the soil content,
Okay.
You do the analysis, you do whatever. I think 1 hectare of land is about 200 euros to get your soil analyzed. And then you go to an expert, you show him the results, and he will tell you, you need pH plus or pH minus to adapt your land, and then it will be okay. The seedling quality is important. The seed, the small tree, and also the process of putting the tree in the land is important, because people make mistakes. You need to have a drainage. You need to have rocks underneath your tree in order for water to go away, not the rotten, and it's a process. So basically, it's not just put a tree in the land. It's a process. If you do it good, you get, I mean, in average, you can earn a good money just from the product, from the walnuts. And the hidden gem, or your pension money, is in 30 years from today. The trees will grow very well, and you can sell the wood.
Wood, you think, not the product itself?
No. You use the trees for 20 or 30 years. You collect the product. And then at one moment, you can sell the whole land to somebody else. Or you can cut the wood and use it for exclusive chairs or whatever. Walnut tree is high expensive. So basically, while you are collecting the fruits and selling them, you get some money back.
I didn't know about the wood.
And every day you go to sleep, the trees grow a little bit more. So you are getting your pension there.
You mean I will have better sleep then? Then I will invest in my sleep.
I would say that's the easiest, and the only cost you have is cutting the grass between the trees. And
so that's the only maintenance, nothing else.
The easiest fix for that is you buy sheep.
And there's also investment
and you earn extra money on that. But then you need a local guy to do it.
Oh, then we can make a story. The special sheeps, that walnut sheeps in that area, with a special guy watching them over in this area. Buy this sheep story again.
And then you collect the milk from the sheep and you make the cheese, and you call it the walnut cheese.
Yes, a mixed cheese, and we're gonna sell this idea to somebody. Mato, this is public.
Then you invest in a van that's refrigerated and bring the cheese to Hamburg, and you sell in a specialized shop high quality cure from Serbia walnut cheese.
Your wife was right at the beginning. You really expand. It's not a bad thing, but I see the potential. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you, Mato. Just one more. Where do you see the Balkan countries, Europe-wise and not Europe-wise? Hopefully, they all be Europe one day. In terms of agriculture, do you see it will be better or worse? Do you see any tendencies?
Well, the tendency is it will get better. The main reason is the budget of the EU in general. Over 50% of the money goes to agriculture. So the agriculture sector is flooded with money. That's why I tell people, if you are a farmer and if you are already in the game, you don't need to go to buy some basic stuff. The money is there. You just need to pick it up. You need a good advisor. You need to pay some bills, of course. You cannot get the knowledge for free. Yeah. But it's there. You just need to figure out a good business plan, and then the money is for free. Can you imagine? It's for free. I talk to a lot of German people and Austrian people that don't have access to these funds, and I tell them, you go to a shop, you buy a 300,000 euro tractor, and when you send the receipt to the ministry, they give you back 150,000 the same day.
Same. Insane.
And that means your cost in your business plan is 50% less immediately. If that's not a good a recipe for success, then you're stupid.
Coming back to having a proper plan with that tractor, not just having it to have the biggest one in the village. Yeah,
no, it's not about the tractor. The Germans did it. 100 years ago. They have the Maschinenring. What is a Maschinenring?
I kind of have the sense. Is it like a brand or is this like a thing?
No, it's a group of farmers buying one tractor.
No, I haven't heard of this system.
And then using it together, maximizing one tractor.
It's the cooperation.
So the tractor is always on the road, tractor is always working, but it's not always working for one farmer. Everybody is using it. But the mentality in Balkans is that it's impossible to do. You used it more, you broken this thing, you smell, you smell, the tractor smells after you, and so on and so on. So I will buy my own and fuck you.
Yeah, totally. I hope this mentality will change in the future in the Balkans. That will not be as it, and they'll have the machinery themselves. But yeah.
But the biggest advantage we have is that if you look, I mean, I'm not talking about specific areas, but if you look in general, if you go from Slovenia all the way to Albania, to the Greece, the land is not poisoned. It's not overused. It's not low quality. The average is very good. For example, Vojvodina has the best one, but not everybody has the quality there. But even if you compare the worst possible area of Balkans, it's still better than any northern country or western country, the quality of land. And the agriculture in Germany, for example, or whatever, I would say the land is actually already dead. They are just physically inputting materials inside and keeping it alive to produce something. If you understand what I'm talking about.
I heard that quality in Germany is not so good, and that's I can go into conspiracy theories, but they say one of the reasons they went to wars is because they were seeking not only for like Lebensraum, you say like political wise, but literally good quality land. That was the backstory, and they were used to hungers and famines, and it was okay to people to go and grab land.
You put the seed in, and it doesn't grow. You put, for example, you grow soya in Vojvodina, you get 5 tons per hectare. You grow the same variety in Germany, you get 1.5 tons.
That's huge.
That's 3.5 times less per 1 hectare. You do the same job, you do the same investment, and you get 3 times less.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, if you go to Slovenia, 1 hectare is about 50,000 euros. In Austria, it's 120. If you go to Netherlands, it's 200,000, because the land is scarce. There is not enough land. That's why I would say, if somebody is considering, the pension that you mentioned, buy 1 hectare of land in Serbia, anywhere.
Anywhere in the Balkans.
It's just the price grows on its own. You don't have to do anything. If you think about it like this, I don't know. I mean, you probably heard about it. The amount of agricultural land in the whole earth, the whole planet, is there. It will not become more. So it's specified. It's just a matter who owns it. You cannot make more land.
Yeah, exactly. That's why somebody's aiming at Mars.
Yeah, and yeah. So basically, if you go to basic economy, when the demand is high, somebody needs your land to grow something, then the price goes up. So basically, you can invest in a piece of land and just give it to somebody to work on it. Even if they don't give you the monthly fee or the yearly fee, you will still earn money with that land.
Totally reasonable.
Well, it's in theory.
By now, I guess on the tendency it goes into that direction. Yeah, I mean, compare last 100 years, 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we missed one more topic. If you allow me, I will tell you two
Of course,
sentences about
please.
it. A lot of, everybody is talking about how to produce more food. And very, very small amount of companies and people are thinking how to reduce waste of food.
You're right.
So we invest a lot of money to produce food, and then we throw away 30% of it. Just because it's not stored enough, it's not stored good, or we misuse it, or we just throw it away because. So I think there is a big hidden opportunity also for investment-wise to talk about how to preserve some food that it's already produced. You don't have to produce more apples. You can just save bigger percentage of the apples that are produced.
You meaning in the field itself, not in the storage wise, like to do.
Yeah, also in the storage wise, but in the field also.
Yeah, to maximize the. Yeah, you don't need to increase the output. You just work more on that same output. Yeah, save on that
the
output.
investment you already made, it's there. If you throw away 30%, then your cost goes up per unit.
Yeah.
But
what solution would you advise? Like 30% of apples are thrown away?
Of course, we are talking about new materials developed that you can make the storages from. There are also new refrigeration techniques. It's not freon gas anymore. You can use solar power on top of your storage and so on and so on. I mean, 60 years ago, NASA went to space and had this food transported there, and now you can have that technology to put in your farm. It's there, it's available. So come on. And also, when I talk to farmers, they tell me, it's not profitable to produce milk. So my answer is, yeah, it's not if you only produce milk. If you go to a modern Western farm, the cows are there not to produce milk. They do produce milk and they sell the milk, but the income of the farm is like milk is 20%.
Where do they earn the rest?
They also produce manure. You use that to make biogas. And then on top of that, you build electricity from that biogas, and then you sell the electricity to the network. On top of your farm, you have solar panels. And then the residue from the biogas is heat. So you build a greenhouse and you make fresh vegetables from your free heat. And you sell vegetables, you sell solar power, you sell biogas power, you sell milk.
At the end. Yeah.
And the value of the land where the farm is increasing. So you have 5 income strains, not just the milk. If you think about just milk, you're bankrupt.
Yeah, you should not think out of the box.
And every 5 of those income sources I told you,
yeah,
in Balkan area, you can get 50% back from the EU budget.
Reducing the cost to make this thing 5 different streams of income, and plus 50% reduce the cost.
Immediately, as soon as you invest, you get 50% back. So the payment of your credit or payment of your investment, it will be reduced in half immediately. So that's think insane. About the opportunity. It's crazy. It's flooded with money.
And so the guys thinking narrowly think only about the milk, but here you have like a electricity plant based on cows. And
basically, that's why I tell you the northern farm has the cows not for the milk, but for their shit. Milk is not important.
Yeah. How do you get your wealth? Oh, from cow shit. It's like easy.
Why not? People get rich on very stupid things.
Yeah, and on top, as you mentioned, play Bach or Chopin onto the cows and tell the story. So you can go, as you said. I'm getting into your head right now. I see how you think.
Yeah, but I told you the 5 things.
Yeah.
You can earn from. I can even think about more. You get the milk, you make the cheese.
Yeah.
That's one more. You get tourists to see your biogas plant.
True. I would definitely go to check. Yeah.
Yeah, you get tourists to milk your cows and to take photos, to make a selfie with a cow.
More savings and plus income on top.
And then the same tourists that take pictures with your cow, they need to eat something. So you feed them with the cheese and the vegetables you are producing, and so on and so on and so on. So it's
It's amazing. I hope, Mato, you're gonna proceed with this and you develop more business and stuff in this area. Again, it's a personal thing, but with your knowledge, it's I think you should go fully with it.
I would say like this. Unfortunately, until now, I didn't find a company or an employer who can fully appreciate the things I know or I can advise them on. And on the other hand, I already tried to have a company and it's not fully profitable just to talk about these topics. So currently I'm how to say, forced work for a similar or adherent industry and do these things as a hobby or as a surplus income for myself. You know, giving lectures and talking with farmers, being a mentor or selling business ideas, you know, go do working with startups and so on. It's my hobby.
It's a great hobby. I mean, if it makes you happy, if you don't have really real plans, but if you come up with some plans, please go with it. We fully support you, at least morally. I hope you find some seed investors. But nevertheless, it's really, as you said at the beginning, people should think more to be more. Just if you failed once, okay, do it again. Just whenever you feel it, and just go with it.
My first fail, I see it as a very cheap education.
Perfect.
Because I failed with a very, very low amount, so it's okay.
And I hope you succeed, and whatever makes you happy, you spend your time with your family and everything. Yeah, go with it.
Good. And also for you guys, I thank you for the opportunity. I hope I was not boring because I can talk a lot, as you see.
No. Trust me, would not be here.
We can listen.
I feel
more.
Feel free to put my contact somewhere if somebody wants to talk more about the topic. Definitely. I will be very open.
We wanted to say yes.
Just a hint: the first advice is free.
Good one. Yeah, and we can guarantee from Babylon Balkan Show that Mato will give first advice for free.
Yeah, he already gave Dusan
coupon.
Dusan already used it.
Exactly, I use my free shot.
Perfect.
So perfect. As you said, we're gonna put your contact. People can contact you with questions, or if they come up with really cool questions, maybe we can invite you for some other episode in some specific area. That would be really great. Let's hope and make this one as well.
Yeah, and we can discuss about the fee of being in the next show. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, this one was not enough. the air money. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mato. It was really insightful. We really enjoyed. Yeah. Thank you once again, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a nice time.
Great episode.
Thank you.
It was. Bye.
Bye.
See you.